Thanks, Drew, and a very special guest during the half-time break, Footscray coach Alan Joyce. Alan, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, Peter.
Footscray boy through and through early in your career, weren't you?
Yeah, followed them, my father played for Footscray and followed them in that 54, was the 54 grand final, only one they ever won, which was great. And, this week's been very sad, hasn't it?
It has been, and I suppose that brings me to Ted Whitten, who was, of course, in that side. Was he one of your idols? Because it was a fantastic team. We're talking off here some of the great players that were in that 20 that day.
Yeah, he was. I suppose Ted stood for everything, a sportsman should. He was tall, he was athletic, good looking, and also, just could win a game off his own boot, and that's what he used to do continually, and particularly in that 54 grand final at the MCG that day. He was magnificent again.
Has it been difficult for you personally and the boys generally after Ted died on Thursday? I mean, what are you going to say to them today?
Yeah, it's difficult, Peter, I suppose. I think I'll leave it to them. I think, they're very thoughtful of the occasion and respect, what has happened. And, even though Ted originally, Don and Val and, young Ted, when they had the tribute at the MCG, came in and saw me and did say to me that they'd like to use it and whatever way we could to win a game for Footscray and for the Whitten family. But, I think today's just a special day and a tribute to him, and I just hope the players do the talking.
You probably don't have to say much at all.
Well, I don't think so, and I respect my players to think that that's what they'll do today.
Looking through your list, Alan, I did the game over here when you played the West Coast Eagles, and, well, from my point of view, one of the best games I've seen Footscray play for a long time, and instrumental in that was Scotty Wine, who had a fantastic first quarter. I guess you'll be looking for more of the same today.
Well, we would be. He probably has been the one that's really turned us around in the last 6 or 7 weeks, and, and it's just wonderful to see him do that because, as captain of the side, he was under, great difficulty there in the last probably 12 months trying to get fit. And as captain of the side, you have responsibilities both on and off the field, and it's just wonderful to see him back in the form that he did have, prior to me coming to Footscray when he won that Brownlow medal and playing at that sort of form. And, today, and along with the other players, he's got to stand tall along with everyone else today. You're
only as good as your last game as a coach, I suppose, in light of what happened to Bernie Quinlan during the week. Looking at Footscray's form during the year, well, tipping is hard. What happened in that period where you lost a number of games and then you were able to turn it round after the state game? How did you do it?
Well, I think, initially we played a couple of bad games in that block, but we did play Essendon and we played Richmond when they were peaking. We played Geelong, Carlton during that, and then probably in 3 or 4 of those we got with, we were with them probably till 3/4 time, and it was only in the last quarter that probably their ability got on top of us. And one of the biggest problems that, we find as coaches is that, winning's a habit, losing's a habit, and we just had to break through. And once we did break through against Collingwood, even though we drew the game, we're 35 points in front in the last quarter. From that point onwards, we've gone on, and, the players have gained strength through that, and their ability and confidence has really, brought them forward. And coming over here, winning against West Coast, probably, just topped off and put a real stamp on, this last period of 6 or 7 weeks.
Looking through the side today, a couple of interesting names out, and I guess you'd like to have them back. Hunter, one of your more experienced players, Wallace. What are their chances of playing again this year?
Yes, Steve Wallace had an operation on Friday, just an arthroscope for a knee. He's had a slight problem there for the last 2 or 3 weeks and probably missed a couple. And Mark Hunter should be available next week, all going well.
Looking at this afternoon's game, I know you don't take any match easily, especially in light of what happened earlier in the year. You had to come from 10 points behind at half-time, and it was a nail-biter right to the end, wasn't it? So the Dockers on their home ground, it's probably even tougher.
Oh, it is, and I think, we've got a lot to play for, and so are they. And their season has been, extraordinary. They've played very, very well, the Dockers, and I think that, today here is going to be a real test for us, and the conditions today are perfect.
Good day for footy.
Oh, terrific day, and I think that's, what we've been looking for and running across the top of the ground, but it is a vital game for us to put ourselves and cement a place in the 8.
Alan, again, thanks for your time and good luck to the boys today. It's probably been a trying few days for you and the team, but I know one thing overall in your mind and theirs, a win this afternoon.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Alan. Alan Joyce, the coach of Footscray. The Dockers up against them this afternoon here at Subiaco should be a pretty good game.
Yes, thanks, Pete. Looking forward to that. And at half-time here at the Gabba, it's the Bears leading Richmond by 36 points. We'll be back with Terry Wheeler's summary after a short break.
Bruce is back and in full voice. Join him Monday night when he's talking footy.
But last night, you said...
Last night, we said a lot of things.
But what about us?